One thing that is difficult about modern life and using like technology, like computers or bullshit apps on a phone or whatever, is that the design of them is so shit, and it tends towards malevolence. If you're going to say, is the design shit because it's incompetence or malevolence, it's more malevolence. They do a lot of these things on purpose, and they're proud of them, and they're not sorry. They're not guilty about it. They're designers of these things, and they do it to control human behavior of the end user. So the product creator, who's probably milking the end user for cash, is controlling their behavior on the other end as they use the product. God, there's so many little things, but I found an example just now. There are so many things about web design and program design that do this now. It's disingenuous, evil website and program design. I'm trying to think of some examples. You've got no negative space where you can click the mouse to deselect things on websites. You've got the read more ellipsis. You've got the auto updates is obviously rapey as fuck. They just, like, they're in control of your product. You're not in control of your own product that you bought. Like, they're constantly changing what you have by beaming you auto updates that change from day to day, like Windows, the functionality of your product. So, like, I may be using Windows for like 3 months, and then some auto update will come through that I never consented to, and it will just change the functionality. Like Windows Picture and Facts Viewer, that program just changes design every couple of months. I was like, this is a program on my computer. It's not meant to fucking change design. I'm meant to know where all the buttons are, and they'll just beam you an auto update, and they won't tell you they've done it. And it'll change the entire design of the program, so all the buttons are in completely different places, the interface has changed, and it's bullshit, because, like, that's not right, that's not going to happen. You know, this is why physical media is good, because you have something in your house and nobody can use the internet to just zoom in and change the objects that you have in your hand in your house. But this is what Microsoft do. And this is what all the companies do, the developer companies, the software developers, the website designers, all of them. It's very rare. You could probably find, if you looked very hard, an honest developer, but it's almost no one now. It's incredibly rare to find someone who's designing or developing programs that don't do this stuff, like change your interface while you're using it, send you auto updates instead of let you manually patch things like the old days. And here's just one. I do one example. I don't know if I can show you the example because it's like text to do with my balance and stuff, so I don't think I can fully show you. So I could describe it to you. So I have a Samsung phone. It uses the Android system. Can't remember who owns Android, but, you know, disingenuous software developer of many, let's say that. And I go on my messages, I try and find out my balance, and they've got texts, they've got a messaging app or whatever. You've got a program to view your messages with, and I click balance and it opens up, this is a number where I send the word balance to them, and it's just full of me sending the word balance to them, and whenever I send that to them, they send me another text. So open up a different set of texts. I'm using O2 on my phone, so O2 send you a bunch of texts. That's not so much the problem. The problem is the interface, which would be Samsung or Android. So you've got your wall of texts. This is a different service where it's not me sending the word balance to someone, it's O2 from a different number, which that annoys me. It's like the first, like one of them is a no reply email service essentially, but for texts. But yeah, anyway, this is the one where it answers me saying balance in from a different number from O2, and it tells me my balance. Hello, your balance is this. You've got this much gigabytes of data, calls and texts and whatever to use before next date. And so I'm on here trying to find the date. You've got like an icon with a blank image, like O2 there's no picture. I don't know what the icon's for. When I had older phones, it didn't have an icon next to it for the person sending you a text. And that has a text in one of these rounded blob speech bubble windows, grey on a white background. and then it has a timestamp, which is not what I need, next to the text. It doesn't really tell me anything I need. It says this text was sent 09:26. It doesn't say what day or anything. So I'm like, okay, my text is the data is going to run out on this date, a few days into July. So I want to find out when any of these messages were even sent to me, when they came through, so I can work it out. It's got a timestamp with a time of day on it. That's useless if you don't know the day of the fucking month that it came through. So how can I find out? So I can long press. I can on the shorter text, it's got an ellipsis, which is like a read more. For this, it says view all, where they're not. I hate this on every website I've ever been to. They're not showing you the full comment or the full text of what you're looking at. So you have to click read more, or in this case, you have to click view all, and then it widens the text or comment that you should have seen the entire piece of from the start. It widens it to the full comment. I think this is a stupid, evil design. I've always hated it. So that opens out, and for this one, because it was too short in the browser, it gave you the view all, read more ellipsis to open out. And this says 7th of July on it. This is different from other texts where it's not too long for the window, and so it doesn't have a view all ellipsis. And you're like, where the fuck is the date then? What can I do? So then you can long press on one of the speech bubbles, and then this is my gripe. It produces this, like a speech bubble drop down menu comes out of the first speech bubble, which is your text that's been sent to you. And it looks like there's a certain amount of options on this drop down menu. And you're like, well, where do I go for my date? And only when you touch it and you don't know you're meant to touch it, rather than clicking one of the items on the list, you realize you can scroll, and one item is off the list, and it's the one item you need, which is view details. Click that, and instead of enlarging the tweet and giving you the date, it goes to an entire different menu, which does give you the date, 7th of July. But it's that drop down that people can't see is a regular drop down. It doesn't fit on the screen. It doesn't have the scroll down bar to the right. It hides it. It just looks like a white bubble. The crows are going mental today. And you can't tell what's on the list if you're just glancing at it. You can't tell that there's stuff hidden from you. They're hiding stuff from you in the design. I don't know if I can find you an example that doesn't fucking dox me shit. Find someone I've talked to. The AA. Can I show this? The AA. Here we go. This is just I had a breakdown ages ago, and this is from the AA. So here's how the interface of Samsung Android shows you your texts on this program. And like, I want to find the date. Well, you click on the tweet, nothing happens. There's no read more ellipsis for these because they're too short to fit on the window. So it's not like when it's that long, they do a read more and they shrink it to that size with a view all button underneath, and that takes you to the date. This date stamp here doesn't always show up on all the other tweets. So I'm looking for the date, and it's in view details. And you just get this bubble window. Oh, on this one you can see the view details, but on some of the other ones it's just hidden it. It looks like it ends at copy to sim 1, and like those are all the options, and you think, oh, that's all the options I got. And yeah, on some of these you have no idea that you can do this. Like, you have no idea that you're on a drop down with a scroll. You just think it's a drop down with the full options on it. It's just bad design. And then that's, you know, on the other window that was hidden, but view details is there. On this one you can see it's cut off, so you can see you need to scroll on that one, and there's a date. And yeah, it's just bad design. There's like bad design choices all around, and that's one of them. And I was thinking, like, that reminds me, it comes from a kind of, I think it's something that Apple made on their interfaces, where you made a drop down, and instead of having a drop down with all the full items on the list with a scroll bar, you'd have this kind of wheel thing where it's like trying to fake visualize that you're looking down a slot into a dial. I've got something like one of these. This is my car. I've got numbers in here. It's trying to visualize this on an old Apple thing, and that's what this design, like a spinning disc with a readout of different options, and you can't see all the options unless it's right in the center of the cylinder that's facing you, and you're looking through a porthole at the readout. Like it's trying to visualize like a mechanical physical device that existed in the real world, or does exist, like that, or like on a submarine where they're looking at the dials and stuff, or an aircraft, like the altimeter, I think, on an aircraft that spins in a similar way. It's like you're looking at the side on to a cylinder that's spinning, and they're trying to use computers, design art, I guess, and programming to visualize that real world thing. Get out, fly, fuck you. But I think that's disingenuous because the way it's done, like with that white bubble thing where you can hide the scroll bar and you can hide the options on your menu, it's done in such a way that it gets away from that physical system, like one of these. It gets away from the thing that it's trying to pretend to be, to emulate, that's from real life, or from like real mechanical design in human past, and it creates a simulation of that where it can introduce things like obscurity and the hiding of information. Like, you didn't see it on that last text I showed you, but the one before that was definitely hiding information from people in such a way that they would not know that information is there at first glance. Obscurity, like using design elements and art to hide information from the end user. That's something that actually happens a lot. And if I just went through like 1,000, maybe not 1,000, if I went through like 150 websites with you today on a live stream, which I can't do very easily because of my house situation, domestic abuse bullshit, makes it a lot harder to do stuff like that these days. Like think while I'm streaming sort of thing. Think and talk my way through streams without distractions and stuff. I could show you like 150 websites where there's all sorts of things like that, where the web design itself is mostly intentionally hiding information from the user that uses it, and lying about it. Lying about what isn't being shown. So it's like that thing of like, how does the BBC mainly do its censorship? Through its news programmes. Lie by omission. Their lies are by what they don't show you. Like, there's the full information that a TV watcher, audience member doesn't know. Then there's the media intermediary, the mediator in between, the middleman, which is the BBC, who's like takes the full information, and then they hide what they want because they're controlled top down by the government. They are the mouthpiece of the state. They hide things via censorship and do not give you the full information. So they'll hide like gore, they'll hide racial facts, they'll hide religion facts, they'll hide all sorts of things. They'll hide far left-wing bias and things in certain directions, and then they'll spit out an output, which is the TV program on the news with them saying the facts with stuff they've omitted, stuff they haven't included from the full details of the event. And so the entire news program that they're putting out to the customer, it's not really a customer because they just steal straight out via TV licensing, is a lie based on political bias from their masters. The lie is intended to control the receiver of the information, the public. And yeah, websites do a lot of that. It's a lot more obvious and easy to see when TV does it to you. For the people who are actually paying attention to it, unfortunately a lot of normies just sit in front of a TV and breathe in, absorb, imbibe all the bullshit and smears and lies that the TV spits out as an output after the omission. They're not paying attention enough. And if they can be so easily fooled by a TV program or a news program, then they have no hope in hell of seeing what I see, which is all the lies inherent in web design, and the places like human speech and even real life, like where you're allowed to drive, where you're allowed to park, where you're allowed to go and where you're not allowed to go, what you're allowed to see, when the police will show up. As an anarchist, I can see all these things very clearly now, especially after lockdown. You might want to call it a surveillance state, but it goes way deeper than that. And you find out what the government's been hiding, like the Epstein files, like when McNamara exposed what all the presidents had been hiding about the Vietnam War. He managed to leak the documents, the recordings taken inside the White House, which were meant to be secret and never seen by the public. He managed to leak those to the public, with all the presidents going, "Oh, what should we do in this war? Oh, we'll just continue bombing the fuck out of this area for 15 months until we win. And it's all about body count. How we send the soldiers out to the towns. What are we doing there? I don't know really. Let's just make it like a quota each soldier has to fill. They have to have a kill count when they go out. They have to kill as many people as possible for the day, because we don't really know what we're doing to win this war. So we'll just give each soldier like a body count they have to fulfill, and then they can come back from that mission." There's like things like that were just like obscured to the public never knew about them. Like I think it's Agent Orange, is it the orange chemical barrels they used to spray all over the Vietnam landscape to basically destroy trees, so that the enemy soldiers didn't have tree cover to hide under the forest from the planes that dropped the napalm. Like all of that was completely hidden from the public, and if McNamara had never leaked those files, and if recordings were never taken inside the White House of the presidents talking, the public would have never even known the extent of all that insane bullshit that happened. And the same with the Epstein files, and the same with thousands of things that are going on right now behind closed doors to fuck us over that we can't see. And amazingly, that includes things like web design, and it's very easy to manipulate a member of public through a web design or a program design when that program is not the public's property. They think it's their property. It's like with game updates. You get a game, you buy the game, and then the person who developed the game says, "No, you don't actually own that copy of the game that you bought from us." And you're like, what are you talking about? I paid money to purchase this item so I could have it. And they're like, "No, we're going to send you all these auto updates. We're going to be in charge of the content that's in the game. It's going to change from moment to moment. We're going to beam you some fixes for your safety and for, like, to stop harassment and racism," and all this, like, nonsense bullshit that they say they're doing. Protect the children. And basically it's just communism. Like, it's socialist bullshit. They think that they own what you own, and that they're in charge of the thing that you bought, and they can control you with it. They can do behavior control and social engineering on you. They can channel you around like cattle, force you to this gate, go through this field, eat this slop, die when we say, and get turned into some meat for someone to eat. Your whole life up to that moment is being owned and controlled by the socialist slave master. And whereas with a cow you'd have like a field with a fence, or like a ring in the nose, and cars rounding you up everywhere, and dogs running around by your legs. You know, if you're sheep as well, like you're herded into different fields. Now you're in this field, you just think you're living your life eating the grass, but you're actually in this system of control where you're in a place for a specific reason. Then on a certain day you're moved to another field for a different reason, getting nearer and nearer to, you know, what your master wants you for. And, you know, the alleyways and the dogs and the cars and the quad bikes and the stuff that round up the cows are the same as the web design that rounds up the member of public, or the program design that rounds up the member of public who thinks they think they're, you know, eating the grass in the field. They think they're just using the program for fun, for their own purposes, but actually they're being controlled by the designer or developer of that program. Long-winded, but I think worth thinking about, especially for the normies who just drink this shit in and don't know that they're under control and that they don't have any freedom. Remove government. Thank you for watching.